Class, let's go to our final pre-boards discussion. So as you can see, sinulat ko lahat ng solution on the board. So medyo maliit yung handwriting ko, but don't worry. I-discuss ko naman yan per item. Okay? Are you ready? Sige, let's go to number 1. Which of the following organizations is currently responsible for setting international financial reporting standards or the standards? Answer natin for number 1 is DOG. It's the IASB, International Accounting Standards Board. Let's go to number 2. The following statements relate to cash. Which statement is true? Go to letter C. Classification of a restricted cash balance as current or non-current should parallel the classification of the related obligation for which the cash is or was restricted. So if current liability yung obligation, well, magiging current asset yung restricted cash natin. If non-current liability yung obligation, magiging non-current asset yung restricted cash natin. Alright? So parallel sila. Mini-mirror natin. Number 3, a company uses the allowance method for recognizing doubtful accounts. The entry to record the write-off of a specific uncollectible account. Tama ba, class, kapag nag-write-off tayo? Debit ADA, credit AR. Okay? And both of these accounts are balance sheet items. Tama? So wala siyang effect sa net income. Wala namang income statement item yun. Wala rin siyang effect sa working capital. Ano ulit yung working capital? Current assets minus current liabilities. Parehong current assets yan. Okay, so 0 yung net effect niya. That's why answer for number 3 is letter A. Let's go to number 4. The cash account of J Company on December 31 has a balance of 127,600 and it consists of the following. Ito daw yung composition of the cash balance. Okay, question is the correct cash balance on December 31 is. So concentrate tayo, class, dito. Okay, so tingnan natin kung ano yung cash balance. Bills and coins on hand, kasama yan, 52,780. Next is petty cash, including petty cash vouchers of 650. Alam natin, tatanggalin natin yung 650 kasi expense yun. 1,000 minus 650, that's 350. Okay? Balance and savings account with the bank closed by BSP. Other receivable yan. Alright? DN cash. Customer's check dated January 15. Post-dated check. So, accounts receivable din yan. Credit memo from suppliers for purchases returns. The sales returns yan. Okay? Postage stamps, that's the supplies, prepaid supplies. Money order, yun, cash on hand yan, kasama yan. And then, IOU of an employee, other receivable, okay? Checking account, balance in PS Bank, that's cash in bank, kasama din yan. So let's double check the total. Total, the correct cash balance, 52,780 plus 350 plus 800 plus 22,000. Answer natin, 75,930. That is letter B for number 4. Let's go to number 5. This is about bank reco naman, okay? So, tax company provided the following data for the month of January. So, concentrate tayo dito, class. Ito yung per book, ito yung per bank, alright? Balance per book, 60,000. Nilagay ko siya dito, unadjusted balance. Balance per bank statement, that's 7 million. Collections on January 31, but undeposited. Deposit in transit yan. So, plus mo yan sa balance per bank. And then, NSF check received from a customer. Pag NSF, alam natin, ma-minus mo yan sa book. So, dito siya. And then, checks outstanding or outstanding checks, negative 1.3 million. Bank debit memo, so 10,000, minus yan. We have a creditor check. Sino ba yung creditor? So, supplier. Tama? For 60,000 was incorrectly recorded in the depositor's book as 600,000. So, nagbayad tayo ng accounts payable, ni-record natin na 600,000. Dapat 60,000 lang. So, yung 540,000 overstated. So, ang ginawa natin dyan, debit accounts payable, credit cash, 600,000. Pero dapat 60,000 lang. Okay? So, add back natin yung 540,000, difference between 600 and 60. Ito yung error number 1 natin. Okay, add back siya. Next, a customer check for 400,000 was recorded by the depositor as 40,000. So, naka-receive tayo from the customer, debit, cash, credit, AR. Instead of 440 lang yung na-record natin. So, plus 360 ka dyan. And last one, the depositor neglected to make an entry in its book for a check drawn in payment of accounts payable. Debit accounts payable, credit cash. Hindi tayo nakapag-record, therefore minus ka dyan na 250. Let's take a look at the adjusted balance. Per books muna tayo, 60,000 minus 100,000 minus 10,000 plus 540,000 plus 360 minus 250,000. Answer mo dyan, class, 6.8 million. Pag balance per bank, pag per bank tayo, 7 million plus 1.1 million minus 1.3, you get 6.8 million. Okay, so answer natin for number 5 is letter C. And syempre, kapag wala kang time in the board exam, pwedeng per bank na lang. Mas madali kasi siya. Deposit in transit, outstanding check, you get adjusted. Unlike kapag sa books, mas marami yung adjustments mo. Pero pag may enough time ka, gawin mo pareho para sure tayo na tama yung sagot natin. Alright, so that's for number 5. Let's go to numbers for the next 3 items about investments naman to. No? So, tingnan natin. On January 1, 2025, an entity purchased a debt instrument with a face value of 5 million, bearing interest rate of 8% for 4,621,006 to yield 10% interest per year. 8% yun yung coupon rate natin or nominal rate, 10% yun yung effective rate natin. The bonds mature on January 1, 2030 and pay interest annually every December 31. On December 31, 2025, the fair value is 4,838,014, which is based on the prevailing market rate of 9%. Okay? So, focus tayo dito, class. Number 6 dito tayo. Number 6, if the entity's business model has the objective of trading and making a profit from changes in the fair value, ano yung classification mo kapag ganun? FVPL yan. Okay? What amount of unrealized gain should the company disclose? Nag-T account lang ako dyan. So initially, may measure natin siya at 4,621,006 kung magkano natin siya binili, right? And then, end of the year, punta ka dun sa last sentence, naging 4,838,014 yan. Tama ba? Tumaas yan. So, tingnan natin yung difference. 4,838,014 minus 4,621,006, you get 217,008. And since tumaas, we have gain. Sagot mo dyan, class, dog, 217,008, unrealized gain for number 6. Number 7, if the business model has the objective of trading, ibig sabihin ng trading, bibenta rin natin siya, and making a profit from changes in fair value, and collecting contractual cash for interest and principal, FVOCI yan. Tama? Pag FVOCI, debt instrument, mag-amortize tayo. Right? And then, tignan natin, what amount of unrealized gain? So, dito ka. Okay, ito yung amortization table natin. Date, interest received, interest income, amortization, and carrying amount. Okay, January 1, 2025, 4,621,006 kung magkano natin in-acquire. And then, interest received is 400,000. That's 4 million, which is the, face value of 5 million. Multiply natin by 8%, the coupon rate. That is your interest received, 400,000. Interest income naman, 4,621,006. Multiply natin by 10%, the effective rate. That's 4,621,100.6. Yung difference sila, 62,100.6. Add natin sa 4,621. Okay. 006, you get 4,831,106.6. Okay. Ito yung carrying amount mo as of December 31, 2025. Take note, FVOCI yan. Dapat i-measure natin at fair value. 4,683,106.6. Compare mo yan sa fair value na 4,838,014. Tingnan natin yung difference. Minus 4,838,014, you get 154,907. Unrealized gain, sagot natin dyan, letter C for number 7. Take note dun sa number 6, FVPL, alam natin, hindi siya ina-amortize. Okay? FVOCI, amortize mo muna, and then mark to market. Let's go to number 8. If the business model has the objective of collecting all contractual cash flows, including interest and principal, at what amount should the investment be reported in the company's statement of financial position on December 31, 2025? In this case, yung business model mo applies to financial assets at amortized cost. Kapag amortized cost, hindi ka nag-fair value. Amortization table lang. That's why sagot mo dyan, 4,683,106.6. That is letter B for number 8. Okay. Let's go to number 9 and 10 about receivables. Number 9, how much is the total trade receivables? Number 10, how much is the amount to be presented as trade and other receivables? Okay, 9 and 10, dito tayo kasi focus. Sige, tingnan natin. CPA company had the following items in its receivable account as of December 31. Take note sa number 9, trade receivable. Ito, number 10, trade and other receivable. Okay, trade accounts receivable, 3.1 million. Sama natin yan sa trade receivable. Trade AR assigned, kahit inassign mo siya, sa'yo pa rin yan. Okay, 1.5 million. Trade accounts receivable factored. Hindi, pag factored, binenta mo na. So, hindi na sa'yo yan. Next, 12% trade notes receivable. Okay, kasama yan. We have trade notes receivable discounted. O, kapag din-discount mo, wala na yan. Wala na sa'yo yan. May minus mo na yan. Tama? So, hindi na kasama yan sa trade natin. Trade receivables rendered worthless. So, ni-write off na siya. Okay? Huwag mo na isasama yan. Installment receivable, normally due 1 to 2 years. Since ordinary course of business yan. So, within yung operating cycle mo, 1 to 2 years. So, kasama yan. Okay? 1.2 million. That's why, yung trade receivable natin, 3.1 million plus 1.5 million plus 400,000 plus 1.2, you get 6.2 million. Sagot natin for number 9, letter C, 6.2 million. And then, let's continue. Customers' credit balances arising from sales returns and customers' credit balances arising from advance payments, current liability yan. Okay, so basically advances from customers yan. Hindi yan part na receivable natin. Advance payments for purchase of merchandise, 600,000, other receivable. Okay, ito siya. Advances to supplier yan basically. Next, cash advances to subsidiary. Kapag to subsidiary, if silent, non-current asset. Nakalagay kasi dyan, sa number 10, current assets daw. Alright? So, huwag mo sasama yan. Claim from insurance, claims receivable, other receivable yan. Subscription receivable due in 60 days. Okay? Kasama yan dito. Kapag more than 1 year, alright, contra equity account yan. Kapag within 1 year, current asset. Accrued interest receivable, we know, kasama yan. And then, advances to stockholders collectible in 2027, so non-current yan. Current yung tanong sa atin. Okay, so trade receivable, which is yung sagot natin sa number 9, 6.2 million. Let's add 600,000 plus 60 plus 1.2 million plus 40,000. Sagot natin, 8.1 million. Okay, for number 10, letter A is the final answer. Sige, let's go to number 11 to 13. We have two situations here. Tama? So, tingnan natin. Number 11, how much the total non-current liabilities? Focus tayo dito. Number 12, how much the total shareholders' equity? And then, number 13, what is the number of reportable segments? Doon tayo sa situation 1. BSA Company provided the following balances on December 31, 2025. Accounts payable, 500,000. That's current liability. Ano ba yung tanong sa atin? Non-current liability yung tanong. Okay, hindi current. Accounts payable is current. Accrued taxes, current liability yan. Ordinary shares, 5 million equity. Okay, so take note, ang tanong sa number 12 is equity. So lagyan natin yan, ordinary shares. Dividends, ordinary share, dividends, preference share. Alam natin, nagde-debit tayo ng retained earnings. So makakabawas sa equity yan. Minus 1 million, minus 500,000. Mortgage payable, 4 million. If silent, non-current. Pero 500,000 daw due in 6 months. So therefore, yung 4 million, 3.5 million doon, non-current liability. Ito siya. Okay, yung 500,000, current liability yan. Notes payable due January 1, 2028. So that's non-current liability, 2 million. Next is share premium. We know pag share premium, equity yan. We have preference share, equity din yan. Next is premium on notes payable. May notes payable tayo kanina. Isama mo yung premium. Add yan kapag premium, minus kapag discount. Profit summary or basically ito yung net income natin. Sama mo yan, 4 million. Retained earnings, we know part of equity yan, 2.5 million. Unearned rent income is current liability. Okay, so kumpitin natin. Number 11 muna, non-current liability. 3.5 million plus 2 million plus 200,000, that's 5.7 million. Number 11, answer is letter C, 5.7 million. Let's go to number 12, total shareholders equity, 5 million minus 1 million minus 500,000 plus 500,000 plus 3 million plus 4 million plus 2.5 million. Sagot natin, 13.5 million. For number 12, letter C, 13.5 million. Okay, let's go to number 13. For number 13, this is about operating segment naman, no? And tingnan natin kung ano yung reportable. Nasa yung 13 ito. So let's perform revenue test, P&L test, and asset test. Okay, kapag revenue test, don't forget na both external and internal yan. Magkasama yan. Therefore, mag-rely ka dun sa fourth column na total. Okay? Total asset, nakalagay 640. Tama ba? Times 10%, 64 yung threshold natin. Alin yung papasok dyan? Actually, lahat yan. Si Basic, si Luxury, Diamond, and Platinum, pasok sila lahat dun sa revenue test. Dun pa lang, alam na natin, reportable na yung 4 na segments. Pero tingnan natin yung profit or loss test. Total profit, 32. Okay, plus 192 plus 116, 340. Doon ko nakuha yan. Times 10%, 34. Ang papasok dyan si Diamond and Platinum. Right? And then asset test, 526 times 10%, 52.6. Ang papasok dyan si Basic, Diamond, and Platinum. Pero we know, isa lang dyan yung maipasa mo, reportable ka na. So, from revenue test pa lang, lahat ng segments, 4 segments for number 13, reportable, is letter D for our final answer. Okay, let's go to numbers for the next 4 questions. We have 3 situations. Dumo tayo sa situation number 1. Okay, FAR Company purchased a 1 million life insurance policy on its president, of which FAR is the beneficiary. Information regarding the policy for the year ended December 31 as follows. Okay, so for number 14, dito ka tumingin class, number 14. Alright? So question for number 14 is, what amount should FAR Company report as life insurance expense? O, tignan natin. Okay, so let's take a look at the given. Meron tayong cash surrender value beginning 87,000. Tumaas siya, naging 108. So ilan yun? 108,000 minus 87. Tama ba class? Increase ng 21,000 yan. And then we have dividends of 6,000 were received. Annual advance premium, yung premium natin per year is 40,000. So we know yung premium insurance expense yan. Debit insurance expense, credit cash. Okay? Yung increase ng CSV natin or cash surrender value, entry mo dyan debit CSV, credit insurance expense. Kaya nagmaminus ka dyan. Sa dividend income naman, na-receive natin ng dividend 6,000, debit cash, credit insurance expense 6,000, kaya naka-minus yan insurance expense. So 40,000 minus 21,000 minus 6,000, you get 13,000. For number 14, answer natin class is letter A, 13,000. Okay, let's take a look at situation 2. A FAR company has the following information related to the development of a particular software package in the first year of product life. Development costs prior to reaching technological feasibility, research yan. Tama, prior eh. Expense yan. 100% expense, 4,000. Next, development costs after reaching technological feasibility. Development yan. Ika-capitalize natin, right? Costs of duplicating saleable product. That's part of the inventory, okay? Estimated revenues over 3 years, 300,000. And revenue in the first year, 150,000. Nakalagay dyan, this represents the entire inventory expected to be sold over the 3-year period. Now, ang gagawin natin yung class, i-amortize natin in a systematic manner, okay? Given yung revenues natin, yun yung gagamitin natin pang prorate. So, ginawa ko sa development cost, sir, paano mo nakuha yung 3,000? 6,000 total development cost, yung amortization mo for the first year, times 150,000 yung revenue, for the year, over yung total revenue sa 300, nakuha ko yung 3,000. Ulitin ko, 6,000 times 150,000 over 300,000, yun yung amortization and development cost natin. Okay? Ang question dito class is total expense. So, ibig sabihin, sama mo na rin yung cost of goods sold kapag ganyan. So, in this case, yung 9,000 na cost of goods sold na inventoryable natin, okay, 9,000. 9,000 times 150 over 300, you get 4,500. Yun yung cost of goods sold natin. Alright? Add natin lahat yan. 4,000 plus 3,500 plus 3,000 plus 4,500, you get 11,500. For number 15, final answer is boy, 11,500. Okay, let's go to situation 3. Tingnan natin. Situation 3. On January 1, 2025, tax company acquired 10% of the ordinary shares of RFBT. On January 1, 2026, the entity acquired additional 20% of the same Investis ordinary shares. Okay, so from 10%, naging 20%. Tama ba, class? From below 20%, naging 30%, naging investment associate. Alright? The two purchases were made at the price proportionate to the value assigned to the Investis net assets. For the years ended December 31, 2025 and 2026, dividends paid 2 million, 6 million, and net income 5 million and 8 million. Question 16, dito ka. Alright? What amount of investment income should tax company recognize in 2025? Take note, in 2025, 10% pa lang yung ownership natin. Therefore, yung dividends na ma-receive, okay, dividend income siya. How much yung dividends paid? 2 million in 2025. Multiply natin by 10%, therefore, meron tayong dividend income na 200,000. Answer for number 16 is boy. Dividend income, 200,000. What amount of investment income should tax company recognize in 2026? From 10%, nag-acquire na additional 20, that's 30%. Investment associate, tama. Therefore, meron tayong share in net income. How much yung net income in 2026? Nakita mo yung 8 million, nandun sa last part. 8 million times 30%, that's 2.4 million. Share in net income for number 17 is dog. Take note, kapag investment associate, yung dividends, return of capital yan, hindi yan income, okay? So that's why yung sagot natin for number 17. Let's go to numbers 18 and 19. Dito ka mag-concentrate, right? Sige, this is about investment property naman. Okay, on January 1, 2025, PB Company acquired a building which is classified as investment property. PB Company paid 4 million to the seller as well as 200,000 for taxes, legal and professional fees. Siyempre, capitalizable yun. Directly attributable cost yung 200,000. The fair value of the building, 3.9 million. The building has a useful life of 20 years and the residual amount of 400,000. Tingin mo tayo sa number 18. If PB Company uses the fair value model, the measurement at initial recognition of the building is, o kapag initial recognition, always at cost yan. Kahit fair value model ka pa. Yung fair value model or cost model, mag-a-apply yan every December 31. Initial recognition, kung magkano binayad natin. So 4 million plus directly attributable cost ng 200,000, that's 4.2 million. Letter D for number 18. 19, if the company uses the fair value model, the net effect in the profit or loss section. Alam natin class, kapag investment property measured under the fair value model, parang FVPL siya. So nag-T account ako dito, initial measurement natin is 4.2 million. Tingin tayo sa second paragraph, the fair value of the building, December 31, 2025 was 4,120,000. Yun siya. Okay, so 4.2, bumaba ng 4,120. So that's a decrease of 80,000. Therefore, meron tayong loss for number 19. Boy, yung sagot natin. Loss of 80,000. And take note, continue natin yung pagbasa ng problem. While the estimated transaction cost on sale was 80,000. The fair value of the building, 2026, 370,000. While the estimated transaction cost on sale was 110,000. Yung cost to sell or yung estimated transaction cost on sale, well, actually, hindi mo siya gagamitin. Ignore mo lang siya kapag fair value model. Kapag cost model, okay, magdi-depreciate ka, and then isa-subject mo sa impairment loss. Impairment loss, or yung recoverable amount, is basically yung fair value less cost to sell. Okay, ulitin ko class. Since ang tanong sa 18 and 19 is assuming fair value model, hindi tayo nag-depreciate. Hindi ka naman nag-depreciate kapag fair value model. Inignore mo din yung cost to sell. Pero kapag cost model yung tanong, magdi-depreciate ka, and then magte-test ka for impairment every December 31. Doon mo i-consider yung cost to sell because yung recoverable amount is fair value less cost to sell. Okay? Sige, for number 19, boy yung final answer natin. Okay, let's go to number 20. Let's go to... Nasaan yung number 20 natin? This one. Okay? Sige, let's take a look at the question muna. For the quarter ended September 30, so that's third quarter, right? What amount should be reported as net income? And entity reported 93,000 net income for the quarter ended September 30. Yan yung unadjusted net income natin. Which included, kasama daw ha? Okay, the following items. Bullet number 1, a 600,000 gain on reversal of impairment realized on April 30. Tama ba class? Yung April 30, that's second quarter. Ang tinatanong sa atin is third quarter. Was allocated equally to the second, third, and fourth quarter. So, yung 600,000 daw, inallocate siya sa 3 quarters. So, that's 200,000 per quarter. Take note, gain on reversal of impairment yan. One time yan. Hindi dapat ina-allocate yan. Okay? So, since second quarter nangyari yan, huwag mo i-report sa third quarter. Kaya nag-minus 200,000 tayo. Gets? A 160,000 cumulative effect loss resulting from a change in inventory valuation was recognized on August 1. We know, kapag may change in accounting policy, inventory valuation, retained earnings yan. Okay? Hindi yan P&L. So, yung 160, nakalagay dyan, included. So, add back natin, 160,000. In addition, the entity paid 480,000 on Feb 1 for 2025 calendar year property taxes. Of this amount, 120,000 was allocated to the third quarter. So, that's basically 480,000 divided by 4. Pwede mo i-allocate yan. Okay? Kasi kaya mong i-estimate yung annual property taxes. So, pwede mo i-allocate yan per quarter. So, walang problema dun sa 120,000. Ito lang yung adjustments natin. 950 minus 200 plus 160. Final answer natin yung class, 910,000 for number 20. That's letter A. Let's go to number 21. If the share dividend is less than 20%, ang tawag natin dyan, small share dividend or small stock dividends. How much of the retained earnings shall be capitalized? That's letter B, 21, fair value. Okay, fair value of the shares of the date of declaration. If at least, pag 20% or more naman, at par value naman yan. Let's go to number 22. Immediately after a quasi-reorganization, the retained earnings account, punta ka sa letter A, has a zero or positive balance. So we know kapag quasi-reorganization, meron tayong negative retained earnings called deficit. Okay? After reorganization, either zero siya or positive. Okay? May eliminate natin yung deficit. Sige, let's go to numbers. Okay, 20. For the next two questions. Sige, for the next two questions, sige natin class. 23, how much total current assets? 24, how much total current liabilities? So 23 and 24, dito kayo mag-focus. Okay? Sige, let's read the given. The accounts below were taken from the unadjusted balance, trial balance of DC Company as of December 31, 2025. So binigyan tayo ng mga amounts, okay? Line items, cash, trading securities, notes receivable, and so on and so forth. Punta tayo dun sa additional information. Analysis of the above accounts disclose the following. Okay, so ito yung current assets, ito yung current liabilities, right? Sige, let's go to letter A. Bank overdraft of 13,000 was deducted from cash balance. Yung cash balance, kapag titingin ka sa given, is 124,000. Dineduct daw yung overdraft, dapat hindi mo deduct yan. So, 124 plus 13, that is 137,000. Tama? So, kaya yung cash natin here is 137,000. And yung bank overdraft is presented as current liability. Ito siya, 13,000. Next, trade accounts receivable was net of customers' deposit of 7,000. Yung AR natin, from the given, nakita mo yung 122,000. Yes. Add back mo yung 7 kasi dapat hindi mo inet yan. So, that gives you 129,000 for the AR. And yung 7,000 na yan, advances from customer yan. Tama? So, that is a current liability. 7,000, current liability yan. Next, merchandise worth 15,000 received December 30 was included in the inventory. Tama lang na in-include. But was not recorded as a purchase. Hindi mo ni-record sa purchase, therefore wala kang entry na debit purchases, credit accounts payable. So, i-add natin sa accounts payable yan. Accounts payable in the given, nakita mo ba yung 75,000? Yes. So, 75,000, add natin yung 15,000. Okay, so accounts payable, tama ba? So, accounts payable natin, we have, double check ko lang. Okay, so trade accounts payable, 75,000. Okay, ito siya. Plus 15,000. Okay, and then tingnan natin yung letter D. Accounts payable was net of accounts with debit balance of 12,000. So, dapat yung inet yan. Okay, kaya yung debit balance na yan of 12,000 advances to suppliers naman yan. Ito siya. 12,000, ito siya. And then, add back natin yan, plus 12,000. So, 75,000 plus 15,000 plus 12,000. Diyan ko nakuha yung 102,000 na accounts payable. Got it? Okay. A bank loan of 30,000 due December 31, 2027 was included in the notes payable balance. Okay, nasa yung notes payable balance. How much yun? 150,000. Tama? Now, yung 150, 30 daw doon is non-current kasi 2027 pa. Therefore, 120 is current. Kaya yung notes payable natin, 120 lang nilagay ko dyan kasi current liability yung tanong. Next, bonds payable which was issued in 2025 will mature in 5 annual installments. How much yung bonds payable? Nakalagay sa given, 250,000. Therefore, divide by 5, 50,000 per year. 50,000, yun yung current natin. Okay, so 50,000. Next. Okay, trading securities are investment in 10,000 ordinary shares with published price quotation. We know FVPL, measured at fair value yan. 10,000 times 9, that's 90,000. Yan siya. Trading securities or FVPL. Okay, so yung ibang accounts pa, tingin tayo sa original given. Notes receivable, 92,000. If silent, current yan. Okay, next natin. ADA, allowance for doubtful accounts, 6,000. We know contra AR yan. Inventory natin, in the given, that is, nasa yung inventory, 136,000. We know that's current asset. Next, employee income tax withheld, or basically, yun yung withholding tax payable, babayaran na kay BIR, 4,000, current yan. Income tax payable, 28,000 current. We know yung share dividends payable, equity account yan. Let's compute for the total. Doon muna tayo sa current asset, 137,000 plus 90 plus 92,000 plus 129,000 minus 6,000 plus 136 plus 12,000. Okay, nakuha ko dito class, 590,000 for number 23. Final answer natin, number 23 is boy, 590,000. Let's go to number 24, 120,000 plus 102 plus 4,000 plus 50 plus 28 plus 13 plus 7. Nakuha ko dito class, 324,000 for number 24. That is letter C. Okay. Number 25. Okay, on January 1, 2025, nasa na yan? Ito. This is about government grant, no? FAR Corporation purchased a machine with a 5-year useful life for 135,000. The entity received a government grant of 13,500 towards a capital cost. Ibig sabihin, FAR's policy is to treat the government grant as a reduction in the cost of the asset. Pwede yan. FAR uses straight line method. FAR will recognize depreciation expense of how much? Ito yung cost, 135. Ininet natin agad yung government grant. Okay? Yung effect niya, makakabawas siya ng depreciation expense. 135,000. Let's compute. 135,000 minus 13,500. I-divide natin by useful life of 5 years. That gives you 24,300. For number 25, letter C is the final answer. Number 26, gains on losses on the purchase and resale of treasury shares may be reflected in. Kapag nagbenta tayo ng treasury shares, okay, and then let's say below cost, ano yung entry natin dyan? Debit cash, credit treasury shares. Okay, below cost, mag-debit tayo ng share premium. Pag kulang yung share premium, mag-charge ka ng retained earnings. Okay, that's why sagot dito, BOY, share premium and retained earnings accounts for number 26. Let's go to number 27. This is about aging of accounts receivable. 27, dito ka mag-focus. Okay? Sige. So, let's go to number 27. What amount should be recognized as doubtful accounts expense for the current year? RFBT company used the allowance method of accounting for bad debts. The following summary schedule was prepared from an aging of accounts receivable outstanding on December 31. Number of days outstanding, meron tayong amount and probability of collection, okay? So therefore, ang kailangan natin dyan, probability of uncollection or uncollectability, okay? So yung 98%, gagamitin natin 2%, 90%, gagamitin natin is 10%, 80% gagamitin natin is 20%. Multiply natin, 2.5 million times 2%, that's 50,000. 1 million times 10%, that's 100,000. 500,000 times 20%, that's 100,000. 50 plus 100 plus 100, that's 250,000. And we know, kapag aging of AR, yan na yung ending balance of your ADA. Tama ba? Okay. Next, net credit sales. Hindi mahalaga sa atin yan kasi aging tayo, hindi naman percentage of sales. Now, allowance for doubtful accounts, meron tayong January 1, 225, and meron tayong balance before adjustment, December 31, 10,000. Ano yung ginamit mo dyan, sir? Balance before adjustment, debit. Sir, bakit yan? Kasi, class, ibig sabihin yan, ang difference ng January 1 at nung yung 225 at 10,000, yung 10,000 na yan, na-consider mo na lahat. Na-consider mo na yung mga write-off, yung mga ganyan. So, yan yung gagamitin mo. Okay, yung 10,000 na debit, dapat maging 250,000 na credit, therefore may expense tayo na 260. Debit budget expense, credit ADA, 260,000. Sagot natin for number 27 is dog. 28. In 2025, number 28 is here. Okay? Dito ka mag-focus. In 2025, BSA company experienced a decline in the value of the inventory resulting in a write-down from cost of 1.8 million to NRV of 1.5. Bumaba ng 300,000, debit loss. Credit allowance for inventory write-down, 300,000. Yun yung beginning natin. Okay? In 2026, market conditions have improved. On December 31, 2026, the inventory had a cost of 2.5 and NRV of 2.3. 2.5 to 2.3, that's a difference of 200,000. Okay, so yung 200,000, yun yung ending balance natin. Okay, meron tayong beginning na 300, dapat meron tayong ending na 200, therefore meron tayong entry na debit, allowance for inventory write-down, credit gain on reversal. Okay, that's 100,000. So, sagot natin for number 28 is boy. So, ulitin ko, class. From 300, magiging 200 na lang yung allowance. Okay, so bawasan mo yung allowance, debit allowance for inventory write-down, credit gain on reversal to 100,000. Okay, 100,000. Number 29. This is about current liability naman. Dito tayo mag-focus. Okay? Sige, so question is, what is the amount of this estimated liability? XYZ company launched a sales promotional campaign on June 30. For every 10, okay, lagay mo yan, encircle mo 10 empty packs, return to XYZ, customers will receive a food container. The company estimates that only 30% of the packs sold will be redeemed. Additional information are as follows. Meron tayong units and amount, okay? Sale of food pack, so 30% daw, ganito ginawa ko dyan. 3 million yung nabenta natin. Nasaan na ba? Ito, 3 million yung nabenta. And then for every 10 packs, so divide ko by 10. Okay, multiply ko by 30%. Okay, so tingnan natin, 3 million, divide by 10 times 0.3. Nakuha ko, class, is 90,000 packs. 90,000 packs. How much yan? Kasi number of units yan eh. How much yan? Okay, so tingin ka dun sa second item, food containers purchase. Nakita mo ba yung units na 60,000? And then yung total is 180. Okay? So 180,000, yung total amount, divide mo sa 60,000. Tama ba, class? 3 pesos per unit yung binibigay natin na awards. Okay? So that's 3. 90,000 times 3, 270,000 yung estimated liability natin. Yun yung total, 270,000. Pero, tingin ka sa third item, prices distributed to customers. May na-distribute tayo. 37,000 times 3. Okay? 37,000 times 3. Bababawas mo yan sa estimated liability mo. So, 270,000 minus 111,000. That gives you 159,000. Ending balance of our estimated liability, 159,000. Letter C for number 29. Okay, next. 30 and 31. This is about factoring. Okay, dito ka. Okay, sige. Let's take a look at the question. Number 30, X Corporation. will receive and record cash of how much daw yung net proceeds. And then assuming all receivables are collected, let's compute for the cost of factoring. X Corporation factored 6 million of accounts receivable to A company on October 1. Control was surrendered. A company accepted the receivables subject to recourse for non-payment. A company assessed a fee of 3%. So how much daw yung net proceeds na marireceive nung nag-factor ni X Corporation? Total AR is 6 million. Tama? Ngayon, chinarge siya ng 3%. 6 million times 0.03, minus mo yan. Okay? So fee yan, 180,000. Next, and retains a holdback equal to 5% of the accounts receivable. 6 million times 5%, that is 300,000. Minus natin yan kasi net proceeds yung tinatanong. Eventually, kapag na-collect na lahat ng AR, ibabalik na sa atin yung factors holdback. Okay? Temporarily, i-hold niya muna yan. Next is an addition, A company charged 15% interest computed on weighted average time to maturity, 54 days. Fair value of the recourse obligation is 90,000. Use 365 days. Okay? So, ignore mo yung fair value of the recourse obligation. Important lang yan kapag hindi nagbayad yung customer. Alright? So, compute natin yung interest na i-charge. 6 million times 15% times 54 over 365, that is 133,150. Let's compute for the net proceeds. AR total is 6 million minus 180,000 minus 300 minus 133,150. Sagot natin yung class. 5386,850. Letter B for number 30. Number 31, assuming all receivables are collected. X Corporation's cost of factoring, dalawa lang. Yung fee na 180, kasi chinarge siya yan in advance. And interest of 133,150, chinarge siya yan in advance. Huwag mo isasama yung factors holdback kasi na-collect naman lahat ng receivables, ibabalik sa atin yan. Okay? Yung recourse obligation, huwag mo rin isasama yan kasi na-collect naman lahat. Okay? Kapag hindi na-collect, doon mo lang i-consider yan. 180,000 plus 133,150, that is 313,150. For number 31, it's boy. 313,150. 32, this is about inventory. Okay? 32 dito ka. Okay? FAR Inc. reported 70,000 of inventory. Ito siya, unadjusted. On December 31, based on physical count, additional information was given as follows. Letter A, included in the physical count were machines billed to a customer FOB shipping point. Included daw, okay? On December 31, the machines had a cost of 3,000 and had billed at 5,000. The shipment is ready for pick-up by the delivery contractor. Hindi pa na-ship. Ready for shipment pa lang. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kay seller pa rin yan. Tama lang yung ginawa niya na in-include niya. Okay? Walang adjustment for letter A. Letter B, goods were in transit from a vendor or from a supplier. The invoice cost was 8,000 and goods were shipped FOB shipping point on December 31. Sa'yo na yan. Hindi mo na bilang sa count yan. Tama? So, plus natin 8,000. Letter C, work in process costing 500 was sent to an outside processor for finishing. Obviously, hindi mo nasama sa count yan. So, plus 500. Next, goods out on consignment. Nag-consign tayo. Okay? Tayo si consignor. So, sa atin yan. Amounted to 4,600 pero selling price yan. Shipping cost is 120. Markup is 15%. So, ginawa ko 4,600. Tinanggal ko yung markup. 4,600 dinivide ko by 1.15. Divide by 1.15, yun yung 4,000. Isama mo yung shipping. Okay? Kasi necessary cost yan. Okay? So, 124, 128. So, let's compute. 70,000 unadjusted plus 8,000 plus 500 plus 4,120. Final answer, 82,620 for number 32. Letter B, 82,620. Let's go to number 33. This is about... Ito ka. Okay, tingnan natin. Dito may loss on inventory loss. Okay? Sige, compute for the cost of inventory lost in fire using the following data. Okay? Tingnan natin. Inventory July 1, 2025, 51,600. Ito siya nilagay. Nag-T account ako. Beginning balance ng inventory natin yan. Purchases, 368,000. Pero tingin ka dun sa 4th and 5th item. So, 368,000, yun yung gross purchases natin. Meron tayong purchase returns minus 11,2. Meron tayong purchase discounts minus 5,8. And then may freight in tayo plus 3,800. Tama ba class? Yung net purchases natin is 354,800. Tama? Yun yung ilalagay ko sa T account ng inventory natin. 354,800. Let's go to sales. 583,000 yung third item. Pero tingin ka sa last item, may sales returns na 86. 583,000 minus 86. Nakuha ko yung 574,400. Yun yung net sales. Alright? Now, tingin natin. Tingin ka dun sa last sentence. The average gross profit is 40%. Kung 40% yung gross profit, 60% yung cost. So yung net sales mo na 574,400, multiply mo by 60% yan, you get 344,640. Yan yung cost of goods sold mo. Okay? So beginning inventory plus net purchases minus cost of goods sold. Tingnan natin yung ending inventory. 51,600 beginning plus net purchases na 354,800 minus 349,640. Ending inventory, yung should be natin, ulit natin, 51,600 plus 354,800 minus 344,640, that is 61, okay, 61,760. This is 344,640. Ending inventory na should be natin, okay, 61,760. Tignan natin kung ano yung natira lang. Let's go to the second paragraph. A fire destroyed the entire inventory except for the purchases in transit, okay? FOB shipping point, 2,000. And, ayan. Ito siya, 2,000. Right? Natira yan. And goods having a selling price of 4,700 that were salvaged from the fire. The salvaged goods had an estimated value of 2,900. Yung 4,700, selling price yan. Okay? 4,700 times 60%, that is, 4,700 times 60%, that is 2,820. Okay? 2,820 pero yung estimated value niya 2,900. Ano pipiliin mo? Siyempre yung mas mababa, 2,820. Kaya 2,820 plus 2,000, 4,820. Okay, ito yung should be. Kaya lang, ito na lang natitira, yung remaining, 61,760. The remaining mo is 4,820. Therefore, may nawala sa atin, may loss tayo na 56,940. Okay, sagot natin for number 33 is boy 56,940. Yes, letter B for number 33. Let's go to number 34, 35, and 36. This is about inventory. Okay? Dito tayo. Sige, let's go to 34 if periodic FIFO is used, 35 if perpetual moving average, and 36 if weighted average is used. MS Hardware began the month of November with 150 large metals on hand. Yun yung beginning inventory natin. Okay? 150. Cost niyan is 160. Multiply nga natin class, 150 times 160. Sulat mo lang dyan, 24,000. Okay? This metal sell for 280 pesos. Iyan yung selling price. The following schedule presents the sales and purchases of this item during the month. Okay, so kung titignan mo class, may different dates tayo. Quantity received and yung unit cost nun. Quantity received yung binili natin. Okay? Unit cost nun and yung units na binenta natin, units sold. Add natin lahat ng quantity received. 200 plus 200 plus 250, you get 650. Yun yung purchases mo. Add natin lahat ng units sold, 100 plus 150 plus 220 plus 100, that's 570. Okay, beginning inventory, 150 plus purchases, 650 minus 570, therefore ending inventory is 230. So yung sa kalagay dyan, periodic FIFO, ibig sabihin yung recent, yung mga last purchases mo, yan yung basis natin for the ending inventory. Yung huli natin binili is 250 units. Pasok yung 230. How much yung unit cost nun? 192. Therefore, 230 times 192, makuha mo dyan is 44,160, dog for number 34. Let's go to number 35. If the perpetual moving average, ito na yung medyo maproseso, no? So, is used, the sale of 220 items on November 17. Okay, so November 17 yung tanong sa atin, will be recorded at a unit cost of. So, moving average, tingnan natin. Beginning inventory, 150 units. Unit cost is 160. Tama ba class? Na-compute natin earlier. 150 times 160, that is 24,000. Okay, yun siya. And then, bumili tayo noong November 5. Nagbenta tayo noong November 5. 100. Multiply natin by 160, that's 16,000. Okay, so 150 minus 100, natitira sa atin 50. 24,000 minus 16, 8,000. 8,000, i-divide mo yan sa 50, still 160. Okay? So, nagbenta tayo. Just go to November 7. 200 units binili natin. Ito siya. Plus, how much yan? 200 times 168. That is 33,600. Add mo yan. 50 plus 200, 250. 8,000 plus 33,6, 41,600. 41,600 divided by 250. Yung bagong unit cost natin is 166.4. Okay? Let's go to November 9. Nagbenta tayo ng 150 units. Minus 150. 150 times 166.4, that is 24,960. Minus mo yan, 250 minus 150, that's 100. 41,600 minus 24,960, that gives you 16,640. I-divide mo by 100 yan, New unit cost natin is 166.4. Next, November 7, ano tayo? November 11. Okay, bumili tayo 200 units plus 200. Unit cost mo is 176. 200 times 176, 35.2. Okay? So therefore, 100 plus 200, 300. 16,640 plus 35,200, 51,840. 51,840 divided by 300, bagong unit cost natin. 51,840 divided by 300 is 172.8. Okay? Now, November 17. Actually, yun yung tanong sa problem. Basahin ulit natin yung number 35. If perpetual moving average is used, the sale of 220 items on November 17 will be recorded at a unit cost of, ano yung unit cost natin sa November 17? Yung unit cost mo no November 11, 172.8. Dog for number 35. Okay. If weighted average is used, the gross profit will be, tingin ka dito, kapag weighted average, right, so cost of goods available for sale at cost over cost of goods available for sale in units, tingnan natin yung unit cost. 24,000 is the beginning inventory, okay? 116,800, yan yung total purchases natin. Alright? So pag minultiply mo yung quantity received sa unit cost, okay, yung tatlo na yan, 200 times 168 plus 200 times 176 plus 250 times 192, makuha mo dyan, 116,800. Okay? 150, yan yung beginning inventory. 650, yan yung purchases natin. Therefore, 24,000 plus 116,800, ito yung cost of goods available for sale natin at cost. And then 150 plus 650, cost of goods available for sale in units. So 140, 800, divide natin by 800, you get unit cost of 176. Ang tanong sa atin is gross profit. Okay? Ilan lahat ang nabenta natin? 570 units. How much yung selling price? Tingin ka dun sa second sentence. The metal sell for 280 pesos. 570 times 280, that is 159,600. How much yung cost niyan? Gamitin mo yung 176. 570 na benta natin times 176, cost of goods sold mo 100,320. 159, 600 minus 100,320, gross profit 59,280. Final answer natin for number 36 is boy. Okay, next. Okay, statement of cash flows naman. Makinig mabuti sa statement of cash flows. Operating, investing, and financing. Ito yung mga supporting T accounts natin. Alright? Sige, so let's take a look at the given muna. Okay, so number 37 na tayo. The differences in ABC's balance sheet accounts on December 31, 2026 and 2025 are presented below. Okay, so meron tayong increase and decrease. Pag positive increase, pag negative decrease. Cash and cash equivalents, 120. Short-term investments. Kapag short-term investments, ano yung classification yan? Okay? Classification yan, investing activities yan. Alright? So ito siya. Kaya may purchase of short-term investment tayo kasi nag-increase eh. Therefore, bumili tayo. Alright? Magiging operating lang yan kapag explicit sa problem na FVPL. Okay, so possible kasi na FVOCI na current yan. Pag nakalagay lang investments or short-term investments, investing activities yan. Okay? Accounts receivable net, walang amount. Inventory, nag-increase ng 80,000. So, minus mo yan sa operating activities. Okay? Kasi inversely related yan. Now, long-term investments, negative 100,000. Tingnan muna natin yung ibang given. Accumulated depreciation, 0 nakalagay. Alright? So, accumulated depreciation, 0, 0. Tingnan natin later kung ano nangyari dyan. Next, accounts payable and accruals, negative 5,000. So, alam natin, directly related yan sa operating activities, negative 5,000. Dividends payable, later, balikan natin yan. Short-term bank debt. Okay, kapag bank debt, financing yan. Kahit short-term yan, financing pa rin yan. Kaya, short-term bank debt or bank loan, ayan siya, 325,000. Long-term debt, later, tingnan natin. Meron tayong common stock, APIC, and retained earnings. The following additional information relates to 2026. Net income was 790. Alam natin, pag net income, operating. Dito siya. Alright? Next. Cash dividends of 500,000 were declared. Now, tingin ka close dun sa dividends payable na account. Okay? And retained earnings. Retained earnings muna tayo. Nakita mo ba yung retained earnings? Nag-increase ng 290,000. Nakita mo yun sa given sa taas? From 0, naging 290 siya. Tama? Net income sa problem is 790. Alam natin, mag-i-increase ng retained earnings yan. So, therefore, 790, naging 290, dividends mo, 500,000. Consistent yan sa bullet number 2 na cash dividends were declared. Pero take note, yung dividends payable natin, nakalagay dyan sa given, nag-increase daw ng 160,000. From 0, naging 160, dineclare is 500, tama? 500 minus 160, ang binayad lang natin na dividends, 340. So, kung lalagay mo sa financing activities, 340,000 lang. Huwag 500 kasi unpaid pa yung 160,000. Okay? Next. Building consisting 600,000 have a carrying amount of 350 was sold for 350. Okay, so investing activities yan. No? Sale of building, 350. Binenta for 350, carrying amount is 350. Wala tayong gain or loss dyan. Okay, so dito, sale of building, 350,000. Next, equipment costing 110 was acquired through issuance of long-term debt. Walang cash dyan. So, disclosed lang yan. Tama? So, yung long-term debt natin, 110, and equipment, wala yan effect sa statement of cash flows. A long-term investments was sold for 135,000. There were no other transactions affecting long-term investments. Tingin ka dun sa original given, nakita mo ba class yung long-term investments, bumaba siya ng 100,000, tama? Kung bumaba ng 100,000, binenta natin for 135. Okay, so binenta mo for 135, obviously, investing activities yan. Okay? Plus yan kasi nagbenta ka. 135, ang book value lang niya is 100, may gain tayo na 35,000. I-minus natin yung gain sa operating activities. Alright? Next, 10,000 shares of common stock were issued for 22 per share. 10,000 times 22, that's 220,000. Issuance of shares, financing activities yan. Okay, next, tapusin natin. Hindi pa natin na-consider yung depreciation. Tama ba, class? Ang nangyari dyan? Tingin ka sa third bullet. Tingin ka sa third bullet. Building costing 600, carrying amount of 350. 600 minus 350. Tama ba, class? 250,000 yung accumulated depreciation nun. Binenta natin. I-credit mo yan. Kaya lang zero yung accumulated depreciation mo at the end. So therefore, yung depreciation expense natin, class, is also 250,000. Kaya yung depreciation expense na i-add back mo dyan is 250,000. Gets? T-account tayo sa PPE. Sabi dyan, yung PPE natin nag-increase by 700,000. Alright? Pero yung 110,000 based on the fourth bullet, equipment costing 110, issuance of long-term debt. Yan, lagay mo siya dyan. Okay? And then, based on the third bullet, yung building costing 600, binenta natin. Dito siya. Sold for X. Makukuha mo 190,000. Ibig sabihin, yan yung binili natin na PPE during the year, investing activity yan. Alright? Let's compute for operating activities muna. Number 37, 790,000 net income, plus 250 depreciation expense, minus 35 na gain, minus 80,000 inventory, minus 5,000 accounts payable, 920,000 for number 37, boy. Let's go to number 38. Okay. Doon muna tayo sa positive. Okay, 135,000 plus 350,000 minus 1,190 minus 300. Minus 1,190 minus 300. Makukuha mo dyan, A, 1,005,000. Negative letter A. And then, number 39, financing activities. Okay, 325,000 plus 220,000 minus natin yung minus 340,000. Makukuha mo dyan is 205,000. Okay? For number 39, dog, financing activities, 205,000. Okay, let's go to number 40. Number 40 natin. Concentrate ka. Nasaan yung number 40? Okay, retained earnings. Saan ko siya ito, yung number 40. Okay? Sige, let's take a look at the question. The statement of retained earnings for the year ended December 31 should report an ending balance. Ending balance, kaya ako nag-T-account dito. Okay, while preparing its 2026 FS, an entity discovered computational errors in its 2025 and 2024 depreciation expense. These errors resulted in overstatement of each year's income by 100,000. Overstated daw yung net income natin by 100,000 per year. Okay? The following amounts were reported in the previously issued FS. Ang tanong sa atin, class, ending balance December 31, 2026. So, ang ginawa kong beginning, December 31, 2025, 3.4 million. Okay, na-overstate daw yung income natin, 100,000 per year. Bawasan mo kasi overstated nga eh. Okay, bawasan mo yung RE mo. Next sentence, the income statement for 2026 is correctly reported at 700. Net income mo 700. 3.4 million plus 700 minus 100 minus 100. Ending balance of RE is 3.9 million for number 40, letter A. 3.9 million. Number 41, this is about discounting. 41, dito ka? Okay. Sige, let's take a look at the question. What is the loss on notes receivable discounting? An entity accepted from a customer a 4 million 90-day 12% interest-bearing note dated August 31. Okay, so again, maturity value muna. Alright? So ano yung maturity value after, well, at maturity date, after 90 days? 4 million na principal, compute natin yung interest after 90 days, 4 million times 12%, times 90 over 360, that is 120,000. Kaya 4 million plus 120,000, maturity value natin is 4,120,000. On September 30, ilan yun? August 31, and then on September 30, nag-discount. So, after 30 days. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, class, tingnan natin. Tingnan muna natin. I-discount siya at 15%. Okay? The proceeds were not received until October 1. Hindi important yung sentence na yun. Okay? Kahit kailan na-receive yung proceeds yan, walang problema dyan. I-disregard lang natin yan. Okay, compute natin yung discount. Maturity value na 4,120,000. Multiply natin by 15% yung discount rate. And then, sir, bakit 60? Kasi 90 days yung original, nakalipas na yung 30, 60 days yan. So, let's compute. Maturity value for 120 times 15% times 60 over 360. Yung discount natin is 103,000. Maturity value for 120 minus discount natin is 103. Proceeds mo is 4,017,000. Take note, ang tanong is loss. Okay? I-compare natin sa carrying value. 4 million, and then add natin yung accrued interest. Ilang days yun? 30 days. Kasi after 30 days, dun din discount. 4 million times 12% times 30 over 360, that's 40,000. 4 million plus 40,000, 4,040,000. 4,040,000 pero na-receive mo lang 4,017,000. Therefore, meron tayong loss na 23,000 for number 41, letter C. Loss of 23,000. Let's go to number 42. This is about borrowing cost naman. Dito ka mag-concentrate. Okay? So, what is the cost of the building? M&O started construction of a building on January 1 of the current year and completed construction December 31. M&O had only 2 interest notes outstanding during the year, and both of these notes were outstanding for all 12 months of the year. The following information is available. Average accumulated expenditures. Later, consider natin siya kapag nag-compute na tayo ng sa general borrowing. Okay, so lagay natin dyan yung average for the general borrowing. Ending balance in CIP, or construction in progress, before capitalization of interest. Basically, yan yung balance ng building natin. Okay? Sa T account, may balance tayo na 3.6 million. 6% note incurred specifically for the project. 1.5 million times 6%. Yun yung specific borrowing natin, 90,000. Capitalize natin yan. Okay? Doon tayo sa general borrowing. Nakalagay 9% long-term note, yan yung general borrowing natin. Average expenditures given sa problem, 2.5 million. Minus specific na 1.5, yan muna yung gamitin natin. Therefore, ang gagamitin natin from the general borrowing is 1 million. Multiply natin by the capitalization rate. In this case, isa lang naman yung general borrowing natin. So, multiply natin by 9%. 1 million times 9%. Borrowing cost natin from the general borrowing, 90,000 din. Okay, 3.6 million. Plus 90,000 from specific, plus 90,000 from general. Ending balance is 3,780,000. Final answer for number 42 is letter C. Let's go to number 43. This is about revaluation naman. 43, dito ka mag-focus. Sige. Question is, in recording the revaluation of the building, the amount that should be credited to revaluation surplus. So, gamit lang tayo ng table natin. On January 1, 2015, an entity acquired a building at a cost of 4 million. Ito siya, 4 million. The building has been depreciated on the base of 20-year life. On January 1, 2025, after 10 years, an appraisal of the building sets its replacement cost at 8 million. Total useful life of 25 years. So, ganito ginawa ko dyan. Depreciate ako ng 10 years. 4 million over 20 years in total useful life. Multiply natin by 10 years kasi 2015 to 2025 times 10. Accumulated depreciation is 2 million. 4 million minus 2 million, that gives you a carrying amount of 2 million. Dapat comparable yan. Replacement cost, sa taas mo ilagay yan, 8 million. 8 million, ang useful life daw is 25 years, divide by 25, okay? 8 million divided by 25 times 10, kaya ako nakuha yung 3.2 million. Para comparable silang dalawa. 8 million minus 3.2, that gives you 4.8, okay? So therefore, 4 million again 8 million, that's 4 million. 2 million again 3.2, that's 1.2 million. 4 million minus 1.2, 2.8 million. We know that's the revaluation surplus. Boy for number 43. Let's go to number 44. Tignan natin. How much daw yung current liabilities for number 44? BAC Corporation's liabilities on December 31 were as follows. Accounts payable and accrued interest, current liability yan. Lagay mo 200,000. Okay, 200,000. And then 12% note payable issued November 1, 2024, maturing July 1, 2026. Uy, magmamature na next year. 12% debentures payable, next annual principal installment of 100,000. Yung current portion, 100. So, kasama yan. 200,000 plus 100,000, 300. Tama? Let's take a look at the next paragraph. On December 31, 2025, BAC consummated non-cancelable agreement with the lender to refinance the 12% note payable on a long-term basis. BAC's December 31 were issued on March 31. So, nag-refinance on a long-term basis at the balance sheet date. Ibig sabihin, class, yung 12% note payable is still non-current. Alright? So, how much daw yung current? Well, ang current dyan, yung 200,000 accounts payable and yung annual installment na 100,000. 200 plus 100, sagot natin is 300,000. Letter C for number 44. Number 45. This is about, okay, compound financial instrument. Number 45, tingin ka naman dito. Okay? Sige. How much is the increase in shareholders' equity arising from the issuance of the convertible bonds? Yung convertible bonds, compound financial instrument yan. JKL issued 5 million face value, 12% convertible bonds at 110. So, 5 million times 110, 1.1, that's 5.5 million. Ito yung amount or yung value ng buong compound financial instrument. On January 1, maturing January 1, 2030. Paying interest semi-annually. It is estimated that the bonds would sell only at 103 without the conversion feature. 5 million times 1.03, that gives you 5,150,000. Okay? 5.5 million, alam natin, ang priority natin is liability, yung equity, residual lang siya. 5.5 million yung total, minus 5,150. Therefore, yung equity component natin is 350,000. Sagot natin dyan, class, how much the increase in shareholders' equity? 350,000 for number 45, letter C. Okay, let's go to number 46. I think this is about discontinued operations. Dito naman, class, 46. Okay, let's see. How much will be reported as loss from discontinued operations? On June 1, 2025, BA Company approved a plan to dispose of business segment. It is expected that the sale will occur on April 30. On December 31, the carrying value of the net assets, 4 million and recoverable amount, 3.6. Tama ba, class? 4 million yung carrying amount. Recoverable is 3.6. Difference is 400,000. That is an impairment loss. 400,000. During 2025, the company paid employee severance and relocation costs 200,000. That's expense, 200,000. So the revenues and expenses of the discontinued segment during 2025 were, so may revenues na 4.4 million, may expenses na 5.8. Tama ba, class? Operating loss yan na 1.4 million. Tama? So meron tayong operating loss na 1.4, meron tayong impairment loss na 400,000, may expense tayo na 200, 2 million. Pero take note na before tax yan. Okay? May tax benefit tayo kasi negative yan eh. 30% yung tax rate, in-net of tax natin times 0.7, you get 1.4 million net loss natin from discontinued operations. Number 46, letter C. 47, non-current asset held for sale. Dito naman, focus ka dito. Okay, what amount should be included as an impairment loss? Yun yung tanong sa atin. An entity accounts for non-current assets using the cost model. On October 1, the entity classified as non-current asset held for sale. At that date, the assets carrying amount was 1.6. Its fair value was estimated 1.1 and cost to sell 100,000. Carrying amount 1.6. Fair value less cost to sell, or yun yung recoverable amount natin, 1.1 minus 100, that's 1 million. Therefore, difference nila 600,000 impairment loss, 600,000 for number 47, letter C. I-disregard mo na yung next sentence. So, December 1, the assets were sold for net proceeds of 925. Doon, may gain or loss on sale ka. Impairment loss yung tanong sa atin. Answer mo is 600,000. 48, let's go to this portion. Okay, 48. Tingnan natin, class. Okay, tingnan natin. Let's read the given. CBA Bank grants a 10-year loan to BSA Company in the amount of 1.5 million with a stated interest rate of 6%. So basically, tinatanong sa atin, how much daw yung carrying amount of CBA Bank, basically notes receivable, and how much yung kay borrower, yung notes payable, right? So muna tayo sa notes receivable, may 1.5 million tayo. Payments are due monthly and are computed to be 16,650. CBA Bank incurs 40,000 of direct loan origination cost. Take note, kapag direct, alam natin, i-add natin yan. Okay? Add mo yan sa notes receivable. Sisingilin natin yan from the customer by charging higher interest rate. Indirect loan origination cost, expense yan. Tama? In addition, CBA Bank charges a 4% or 4-point non-refundable loan origination fee. 1.5 million times 4%. That's 60,000. Yun siya. Minus natin yan kasi yun yung dineduct natin in advance, okay, from the borrower. Yan yung origination fee received. Kaya minus siya. So, notes receivable natin, 1.5 million plus direct origination cost of 40 minus 60. Answer mo is 1,480,000. Sa point of view naman ni borrower, meron siyang notes payable na 1.5 million. Nagdeduct in advance sa kanya na 60. Meron siyang 1,440. Take note, wala siyang idea dun sa direct origination cost. Okay? Walang idea si borrower dyan. Basta i-charge lang siya ni lender ng 6% na interest rate. Naka-impute na dun yung direct origination cost na 40,000. So, sagot mo dyan, notes receivable 1,480, notes payable 1,440, boy for number 48. 49 is about... Okay, this is about error correction. 49, dito ka naman class tumingin. Okay? Sige, as a result of the above errors, 2006 net income would be an entity reports on a calendar year basis. The 2025-2026 financial statements contain the following errors. Again, yung approach natin, i-correct natin yung error. Right? Over or understatement of ending inventory. Doon mo tayo sa 2025. Meron tayong understatement. So, plus tayo. Plus 100, minus 100. Ini-mirror natin yan. 2026, 40,000. Minus 40,000. Okay? Overstated minus mo yan. Depreciation understatement. Kulang yung depreciation, therefore mataas yung net income. Minus mo yan. 40 and then 60. Walang mirror pag depreciation. Failure to accrue salaries at year end. Okay? Nakalimutan natin mag-debit salaries expense, credit salaries payable. So minus 80 plus 80. Okay? Meron siya mirror. Minus 120 plus 120 next year yan. Ang tanong sa atin, 2026, focus ka lang dyan. So tingnan natin. 100,000 plus 40,000 plus 60 minus 80 plus 120, you have negative 240,000. Okay, kailangan mo na mag-minus 240 para makorek yung error. Ang tanong sa atin dyan, as a result of the above errors, 2006 net income, 2026 net income would be 240,000 overstated. Okay, boy, yun na sagot natin for number 49. Sir, bakit overstated? Because para makorek siya, kailangan mo mag-minus ng 240. Okay? Ibig sabihin, overstated. Kasi kailangan mo magbawas eh. Alright? So, boy, yung sagot natin for number 49. Number 50, how much should be accrued as provision? Okay? Mr. Accounting Company has several contingent liabilities. The auditor obtained the following description of each liability. May 2025, Mr. Accounting became involved in litigation. December 2025, the court assessed a judgment for 1.6 million. Appealing the amount of judgment, its attorney believe it is probable that they can reduce the assessment appealed by 50%. So probable and measurable. Okay, best estimate is 50%, 1.6 million times 50%, that's 800,000. Next, in July 2025, a competitor brought action against Mr. Accounting. It is probable that the competitor will be successful. Maximum amount is 1.5 million. Ayun. And then, third bullet, Mr. Accounting Company assigned a guarantor for a 1 million loan by a bank to a major supplier. This time, there's only a remote likelihood. Pag remote, disclose mo lang yan. Wala yan sa provision mo. 800 plus 1.5, 2.3 million. Sagot natin for number 50 is letter C. Let's go to number 51. Dito ka naman mag-concentrate, class. Number 51. Okay, change in estimate naman to. What amount should be recorded as a balance of accumulated depreciation? An entity purchased a machine for 132,000. Yun yung cost. Tama? And depreciated by straight line method using an estimated life of 8 years with no salvage value. 8 years, useful life. On January 1, 2028, so ilang years yun? 2025, 26, 27, 3 years. Okay, compute natin. Diyan nagkaroon ng estimate. Change in estimate. 132,000. Divide natin by 8 years. Times natin sa 3 years. Accumulated depreciation, 49,500. Okay, yung cost natin na 132,000 minus accumulated depreciation of 49,500, carrying amount natin at the date of change in estimate is 82,500. Okay, the entity determined that the machine has a useful life of 6 years from the date of acquisition. So, tama ba? 6 years. Nakalipas na yung 3 years, therefore remaining is 3 years. Okay, may salvage value doon na 12,000. So, carrying amount na 82,500. Okay, minus salvage value na 12,000, divide natin by remaining useful life na 3 years. Depreciation expense for the current year is 23,500. Meron tayong accumulated depreciation of 49,500, additional depreciation expense sa 23,500. Add natin yung dalawa na yan, 49,500 plus 23,500. Okay, you get 73,000. Balance of accumulated depreciation, 73,000 for number 51. That is letter A. Let's go to number 52. PAS 10 covers adjusting and non-adjusting events after the reporting period up to, we know answer here is letter B, date of authorization to issue the financial statement. So yung events after the reporting period, from December 31, the balance sheet date, up to the authorization to issue the financial statements. Number 53, agricultural produce is measured at, letter B, fair value less cost of disposal or cost to sell at the point of harvest. Very important, at the point of harvest. Let's go to number 54. So, concentrate tayo dito, class, for number 54. Question is, what amount should ABC report as depletion? January 2025, ABC Inc. purchased a mineral mine for 5 to 80,000. That's the purchase price. Capitalize natin yan, 5 to 80,000. And then, with removable ore estimated at 1.2 million tons. So, yun yung total estimates na marirecover natin. After it has extracted all the ore, ABC will be required by law to restore the land to its original condition at an estimated cost of 440. The present value of the estimated restoration cost is 360,000. We know, present value yung gagamitin natin, okay? Because future cash outflow yan, kailangan natin i-present value yan. 360,000. ABC believes that it will be able to sell the property afterwards for 600,000. 600,000 is the residual value. Later, consider natin yan to compute for the depletion. During 2025, ABC incurred 20,000 of development costs. Capitalized din siya to the wasting assets. And preparing the mine for production and remove and sold 60,000 tons of ore. What amount should ABC report as depletion? Add natin yan, 5 to 80,000 purchase price plus restoration cost of 360,000 plus 720,000 development cost. So total wasting asset natin 6,360. That's the cost minus the residual value of 600. Total estimates natin is 1.2 million. So double check natin, 6,360 minus 600,000 divided by 1.2. So 4.8 per ton. Okay, na-extract natin is 60,000 times 60,000. You have 288,000. 288,000 for number 54. Answer natin is letter B. For boy. Number 55, under a debt restructuring involving substantial modification of terms, the future cash flows under the new terms shall be discounted using, we know we should use the original effective rate. Letter A for number 55. Number 56 and 57, this is about employee benefits. Okay, so dito tayo, class. Tignan natin. 56, what is the pension expense? 57, what is the pension asset or liability at year end? At the beginning of the current year, Mr. Accounting Company had the projected benefit obligation of 10 million and pension fund with a fair value of 9.2 million. The entity provided the following information. So, doon tayo sa employee benefit expense. Current service cost, part yan. Okay, 1.2 billion. And then, actual return, benefits paid, contributions to the fund, and meron tayong discount rate. Okay, gagamitin natin is the discount rate. Let's compute for the interest expense. Pero tayong PBO, so based sa first sentence, 10 million times 9%, interest expense natin is 900,000. May FBPA tayo na 9.2 million times 9%, double check natin, 9.2 million times 0.09, you get 828,000 interest income. We know, ang kukunin natin is the net interest. So, kaya naka-minus yung interest income. 1.2 million plus interest expense of 900 minus 828,000 interest income. You get 1,272,000. That is our employee benefit expense. For number 56, answer is boy. Okay, 57, ending balance basically of the pension asset or liability or yung PABC natin. So, ang ginawa ko dyan, class, nag-T-account ako ng PABC. Sir, saan mo nakuha yung beginning balance na 800,000? Well, meron tayong PBO na 10 million. Meron tayong FBPA na 9.2. So, difference yan sa 800,000. Mas mataas yung PBO, therefore, credit balance yan. Alright? Now, according to the problem, merong actual return na 250,000. And we know, yung return, ang composition yan, merong interest income na 828. Alright? So, 828 yung interest income, and return natin is 250. Therefore, meron tayong remeasurement loss na 578,000. Kasi 828,000 minus 578,000, that's your 250,000. Okay? Now, entry natin dyan, class, debit employee benefit expense, 1,272,000. Debit remeasurement loss, which will be charged in OCI, 578. Credit cash in, yung kinontribute natin, nandiyan sa given. Fourth item, 1,050,000. Balancing figure, tignan natin. 1,272,000 plus 578,000 minus 1,050,000. Balancing figure, PABC, 800,000. Beginning PABC, 800. And then entry tayo na additional 800. 800 plus 800, 1.6 million. Final answer for number 57 is letter C, 1.6 million liability. 58, what is the basic principle for accounting for income taxes? For number 58, go to letter C. an entity is required to recognize deferred tax liability or asset when the book basis for the asset or liability is not equal to its tax base and the difference is due to temporary difference. Okay, letter C for number 58. Yung D kasi nakalagay permanent difference. Alam natin, kapag permanent difference, walang DTL, DTA yan. Meron kang DTL, DTA for temporary difference. Number 59. So dito tayo, class. Basically, question is, what amount should be reported as DTL on December 31, ending balance of TTL? Let's take a look at the given. ABC Company prepared the following reconciliation. Meron tayong pre-tax financial income or yung accounting income natin, permanent difference, minus siya, you get financial income subject to tax, and then meron tayong temporary difference na 200,000. Kinapitalize daw for book purposes, pero dapat expense siya for tax purposes. You get a taxable income. Pinakita na yung computation sa atin. Cumulative taxable temporary difference is 300,000 on January 1 and 500,000 on December 31. Tama ba, class, kapag taxable temporary difference, may mag-a-arise na DTL dyan. Tama? Tax rate is 30%. Ginawa ko lang dito, yung 500,000 na taxable temporary difference, multiply ko lang siya by 30% the tax rate. Nakuha ko na agad yung 150,000 DTL. That's why answer for number 59 is dog. Ganun lang. Or, alternatively, nag-T account ako. Okay? Beginning balance ng DTL, which is yung meron tayong taxable temporary difference sa 300,000 on January 1, 300,000 times 30%, that's 90,000. Beginning balance yan. Tama? And yung income statement or yung income statement approach, nakalagay dyan, di ba? 200,000 na negative. Alam natin, pag negative, TTL yan. Okay? 200,000 times 30%, that's 60. Okay? Pag income statement approach, change during the period yan. Beginning na 90, plus 60, 150,000. Okay, so may two ways ka to compute for 150,000. For number 59, final answer is dog. Number 60 and 61, about leases. Okay, for 60, what is the initial lease liability? For number 61, is the right of use asset or ROA. Okay, tignan natin, class. At the beginning of current year, XYZ company leased a building with the following information. Annual fixed payment in advance, so take note, in advance, yung binigay sa atin at the beginning of each lease year. Initial direct cost paid, lease incentive received, lease bonus paid, discounted amount of restoring the building, required by the contract, important yun, dapat required siya. Purchase option that is not reasonably certain. Ingat ka, nakalagay, not reasonably certain. Ibig sabihin, class, hindi natin isasama yan sa lease liability. Okay? Lease term is 5 years, implicit rate 8%, PV of annuity of 1 in advance. So in advance yung gagamitin natin, 4.31. PV of 1 at 8% for 5 periods, 0.68. Lease liability natin, tama ba, class? Sa first item, nakalagay yung fixed payment is 1 million per year. Multiply na natin yan by 4.31. Okay? You get 4,310,000. That's our lease liability. Number 60, answer natin is letter A. Take note na hindi ko sinama yung purchase option. Pero kapag nakalagay dyan, reasonably certain, yung purchase option na 300,000, yung multiply mo yan sa present value of 1 na 0.68. Okay? Kapag reasonably certain. Hindi reasonably certain, so yan siya. Let's go to number 61. How much daw yung ROA? Alam natin yung ROA, part dyan yung lease liability. So important yung sagot mo dyan, i-carry over mo dyan. Okay? Let's take a look at the other item. Second item, initial direct cost. Alam natin, capitalizable yan sa ROA. Next, lease incentive received. Tayo naka-receive. Na-receive natin from the lessor, minus yan. Okay? Lease bonus paid, okay, to the lessor. So, tayo nagbayad kay lessor. Alam natin, pag lease bonus, pa-plus natin siya. And then, discounted amount of restoring the building required by the contract. Since required siya by the contract, naka-present value na siya, add mo siya, 200,000. Add natin yan, 4,310,000 plus 350 minus 150 plus 100,000 plus 200,000. Row 1 natin, 4,810,000 for number 61. Final answer is letter C. Numbers 62 and 63, about compensation expense. So, focus naman kayo dito, class, for 62 and 63. Basically, question is, for number 62, compensation expense for 2026. 63, compensation expense for 2027. Okay, so share-based compensation. On January 1, 2025, PQR Company granted to a senior executive 30,000 share options, underline mo yan, conditional upon the executives remaining in the entity's employ until December 31, 2027. So that's 3 years, okay? So yun yung vesting period natin. The par value 50, exercise price is 100. However, the exercise price drops to 80 if the entity's earnings increase by at least an average of 10%. The entity estimated the fair value of the share option is 30 pesos. Encircle mo yun. if the exercise is 80. If the exercise is 100, the fair value is 25 pesos. So magkaiba yung fair value of the share option, depende. Okay? Kapag at least 10% yung increase, yung average, 30 pesos gagamitin natin. Okay? Kapag ka naman below 20% or below 10%, gagamitin naman natin is 25 pesos for the fair value of the share option. During 2025 and 2026, the earnings increased by 11%. Okay, so 2025, 11%. That's why 30 pesos yung gagamitin natin. Nag-increase ng 12%, 2026. 11 plus 12 divided by 2, yung average yan is 11.5%. That's why gagamitin mo dyan, 30 pesos na fair value of the option. However, during 2027, the earnings increased only by 4%. Tignan natin yung average. 11 plus 12 plus 4, divide natin by 3, 9% lang. That's why ginamit ko dito is 25 as the fair value of the option. Let's compute. Doon muna tayo sa 2025. 30,000 times fair value of 30 times 1 over 3, you get 300,000. We know, yan yung ending balance. Okay, share premium, share options natin. 2026, 30,000 times 30 times 2 over 3, ending balance yan, 600. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, expense mo for the period 300 naging 600, that's 300,000. Sagot mo sa number 62, boy, 300,000. Let's go to number 63, compensation expense for 2027. 30,000 share options. Okay? 25 the fair value, 30,000 times 25 times 3 over 3, ending balance is 750. Lagyan mo siya dyan sa T-account natin, 600 naging 750. That's an increase of 150,000. That's why for number 63, sagot natin class, letter A, 150,000. Number 64, this is about book value per share. Okay, so 64, dito naman class, right? Focus kayo dito. WXY company has an authorized capital of 10% o 10,008% cumulative. Take note, cumulative ha. So babayaran natin yung dividends in arrears. With 100 par value, 20,000 ordinary shares, the entity reported the following shareholders' equity. Cumulative preference share capital, 500,000. Tingin ka na agad dun sa second paragraph. Dividends on preference shares are in arrears for 2024 and 2025. 2 years. Computin na natin yung dividends in arrears. 500,000 times 8% daw. Okay? Yung dividends per year times 8% times mo sa 2, 80,000 yung dividends in arrears. Ito siya, 80,000. Right? 500,000 times 8% times 2. Next, ordinary share capital, 1.1 million. Share premium and retained earnings. Pagsamahin mo yan, 200 plus 260, that's 460. Okay, yan yung excess. Kaya lang may treasury shares. Sabi ko, kapag may treasury shares, assume natin na ni-retire siya. Kaya may entry ako na retirement dito. Credit natin yung treasury shares, 150,000. Credit mo yung ordinary share capital, which is at par value, 1,000 yung treasury shares. Multiply natin by 100 na par value. Balancing figure, charge mo sa share premium and retained earnings. Okay, so therefore, yung excess natin na 400, originally 460,000 yung excess natin, tama ba? 200,000 na share premium, add mo yung retained earnings na 260. Okay? Kaya lang, may debit ka dyan. Okay, minus 50. Excess ko ngayon is 410. Alright? Preference shares, 500,000. Yung ordinary shares, nakalagay dyan 1.1 million. Pero nag-debit ka ng 100, 1 million na lang yan. Okay? So, bigyan natin yung dividends in arrears to the preference shares. 410 minus 80, you get 330,000. Okay, 1 million plus 330, 1,330,000. And then, ang gagawin ko dyan class, meron tayong 11,000 ordinary shares dyan. Tama? 11,000 ordinary shares. Paano mo nakuha sir yan? 1.1 million. Divide mo sa 100, may 11,000 tayo. Pero may treasury shares ka na 1,000, ibig sabihin yung outstanding mo is 10,000. 1,330,000. Divide by 10,000, sagot natin dyan class, 133. For number 54, boy is our final answer. Number 65, okay, 65. The as-if approach of computing EPS. Data assumes conversion of convertible securities at, ito yung diluted EPS, as-if approach yung i-apply natin. Punta ka sa A, beginning of the earliest period or the time of issuance if later. So again, ang assumption natin in computing diluted EPS using the as-if approach, as if converted at the start of the year. Unless, syempre, in-issue siya. For example, in-issue ng July 1. O as if, convert siya ng July 1. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng A. Beginning of the earliest period or the time of issuance if later. 66 and 67 about EPS. So, concentrate tayo dito, class. Okay? 66 is basic EPS. 67 is diluted EPS. On January 1, GHI had 100,000 ordinary shares outstanding. 50,000, 7%, 100 par Cumulative preference shares. Compute na natin agad yung dividends ng preference shares kasi cumulative. So whether declared or not, ima-minus natin yan. 50,000 times 7% times 100. Sulat mo muna class. Dividends or preferred dividends, 350,000. Ito siya. 350,000. Okay? On March 1, the entity purchased 24,000 treasury shares and sold 8,000 treasury shares on October 1. So in that case, weighted average yung gagamitin natin. Meron doon tayong beginning na 100,000 ordinary shares times 12 over 12. Bumili tayo ng treasury shares, 24,000 on March 1. 24,000 times 10 over 12, March to December, 20,000. Negative yan kasi treasury shares. Nag-reissue tayo, 8,000, October, November, December, 8,000 times 3 over 12 plus 2,000. 100 minus 20, that's 80, plus 2, that's 82,000. Weighted average number of shares, yun yung denominator natin. Next. Okay, also outstanding on January 1 were share options. So later yan sa diluted EPS. Punta ka sa third paragraph, the net income was 5.4 million. Ito siya, 5.4 million minus preferred dividends. So compute natin earlier, 350,000. Divided by WAVE, or weighted average number of shares na 82,000. Basic EPS natin class, 61.59. For number 66, letter C, 61.59. Okay. Let's go to 67. This is about diluted EPS. May dalawa tayong dilutive securities, options, and convertible bonds. Okay, so ginawa ko dito class, may table tayo. Ito muna yung basic EPS. Sir, sama na ko ay 5,050,000. Ito yan, yung numerator. 5.4 million minus 350, 5,050,000. Divided by 82,000, ito yung basic EPS natin. Okay? Let's take a look at the second paragraph. Also outstanding on January 1 were share options to buy 50,000 ordinary shares at 40. The market price of ordinary share averaged 50 pesos during 2025. Let's compute for the incremental or the free shares. In-issue natin 50,000 shares. Tama? Binayaran sa atin ng shareholder 40 pesos. So 50,000 times 40, marireceive natin is 2 million. Okay? I-divide mo yan by average na 50 pesos. Ibig sabihin, makakabili tayo ng 40,000 na treasury shares. Issued 50,000 minus treasury na 40, incremental shares natin 10,000. Alright? And laging yung options, number 1 lagi sa ranking yan. Okay, ng dilutive securities. Punta tayo sa bonds. Sabi dyan, on January 1, 2025, doon pa rin ako sa second paragraph, the entity issued 5 million 6% bonds at face amount. The bonds are convertible into 25,000 ordinary shares. According to the last sentence, 30% daw yung tax rate natin. Interest expense, kailangan natin i-add back yan, 5 million. Times 6%, yun yung interest expense. Pero dapat net of tax, 5 million times 6% times 0.7. Interest expense is 210,000. And then convertible daw siya into 25,000 ordinary shares. Okay, reflect natin yan sa table natin. Options muna, 0 yung dagdag sa numerator niyan. 5,050,000. Incremental shares, 10,000. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, 5,050,000 divided by 92,000, you get 54.89. Okay? So, tignan natin kung dilutive or anti-dilutive yung bonds. Numerator ng bonds, so compute natin 210,000. Denominator, 25,000. So, 5,050,000 plus 210,000. Numerator mo dyan class is 5,260. Yung denominator naman, 92,000 plus 25,000, that is 117. 5,260,000 divided by 117,000. EPS mo dyan, diluted EPS, 44.96. Bumaba siya from 54, naging 44. Ibig sabihin, dilutive yan. Kapag tumaas yan, anti-dilutive. Alright? So, mas mababa tayo, 44.96. Letter C for number 67. 68. I think ito na yung last na problem natin, no? Problem solving. 68. What amount should be reported as gain from sale of patent in 2025? BAE Company was granted a patent on January 1, 2022. And appropriately capitalized 450,000 of related costs. The entity was amortizing the patent over the useful life of 15 years. During 2025, pag sinabing during, ibig sabihin, beginning of the year, January 1. So, ilan yun? 2022, 23, 24, after 3 years. Okay, the entity paid 150,000 in legal costs in successfully defending an attempted infringement. Alam natin yung mga legal cost na yan for defending the patent, expense yan, right? Expense. After the legal action was completed, the entity sold the patent to 750,000. Computing ko lang yung carrying amount of the patent, 450,000. Tama? Divide by 15. 450,000 divided by 15. Okay? That is 30,000 per year. 3 years yung nakalipas. Tama? So, meron tayong cost na 450. Accumulated amortization natin, 30,000 times 3, 90,000. So, 450 minus 90,000, you get carrying amount of 360,000. Binenta mo yung 360 for 750,000. 750 minus 360, mas malaki yung na-receive natin, 390,000 gain tayo dyan. Letter D for number 68. Number 69, according to the revised conceptual framework, the fundamental qualitative characteristics of relevance includes, so alam natin, it's letter C, predictive value and confirmatory value para maging relevant yung financial information. And last one, number 70, which of the following is not one of the differences between full PFRS and PFRS for SMEs? Let's take a look at the choices. A, SMEs must use the fair value model for investing property unless the fair value is not readily determinable. That's true. B, the maximum useful life for intangible assets of SMEs is 10 years. That's also correct. Letter C, investment in equity securities of SMEs can be classified as FVPL or FVOCI. Mali yan. Kapag equity security, FVPL ka lang. Kaya C na yung sagot natin for number 70. Letter D, investment in debt securities of SMEs can only be classified as amortized cost. That's correct. Okay, so that's the end of our discussion on FAR final pre-boards.